just now tuning in, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell. GMS fam, the green room. Let's talk about it. Hey, yo, GMS fam, the green room. What's going on, everybody? How y'all feeling? What's going on here? All right, there we go. There we go. There we go. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Are y'all in here? There we go. Hey, GMS fam, the green room. What's going on to everybody? I feel y'all in this building right now, man. Hit the chat, hit the live chat if you can. Hit the live chat if you can. I'm still getting used to this whole StreamYard diddly thing or whatever you want to call it. Speaking of diddly, we want to talk about some things that happened. This is breaking news. Diddy's sons is out here trying to haymaker niggas for talking about his dad. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but apparently they were supposed to try to jump Ray J last night. I just seen that on my timeline. That's why I'm all discombobulated and looking at different stuff. I'm not supposed to be looking at stuff right now. We're supposed to be starting the show. GMS fam, the green room. Where y'all at, man? Daryl Perpington, I see you, my brother. Nikki Love, new subscriber. Hey, I feel you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. I'm still figuring out this StreamYard deal, trying to make sure everything is running right. Yeah, so it's been a minute, man. It's been a few weeks. I've been super busy, man, working all the time, man, doing extracurricular activities with the family. But we had to come back and do another live show for y'all to talk about some things, man. I want to see how y'all are doing, man. How's everybody doing, man? Tap into the live chat. Let me know you are in here, GMS fam, the green room. Are y'all meeting y'all goals? Are y'all out here achieving all the things that you set for yourself? If not, I believe in you, and I think that you should start getting to it right now. I'm getting to it. You should get to it as well, man. Yo, man, what is this? What's going on, man? Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Now, we have a lot of things to discuss today, man. So many things have happened in the past few weeks. I did put up a video last week, and I wanted to make sure I expounded on this topic a little bit more as we were live at some point, and this is the some point. Now, last week I posted a video talking about Corey Holcomb and his now newfound love and admiration for Holly Weird. Somebody who has spoken against Hollywood for so long and the things that have happened in the industry and in this entertainment business is now wanting to be a part of the same conglomerate he speaks so foul about. It's very interesting to see his point on that. I'm going to play that clip in a minute. But I wanted to address that first because, you know, a lot of people will hear something like that and try to make an excuse for it. You know, we have a group of people that we call the Corey sexuals. Those are the people that don't see any problem or issue with anything that he says. They can never be objective. Everything that Corey says is right because he's a funny comedian and he makes them laugh and entertains them every week. I get it. I understand. There's no hating that. You know what I'm saying? Be loyal to the soil. Do what you do. But this was kind of crazy to hear. Now, although we already know his undying wish to be accepted by Hollywood so bad so he can be a part of the same conglomerate of individuals like the Kevin Harts and other people that he reveres as top tier comedians, it's just interesting to hear his takes on how he wants to move once he gets to that level, or if he gets to that level. And it's very, very odd to me that when he decided to speak on this or decided to make these revelations about him being ready to just go ahead and go along with what Hollywood is doing to get the bag, it seemed like he wanted to have a level of, what do you call it? What's the attitude that you call it where somebody is feeling like he wants to be very smug, very, oh, you can't reach me because I want to be so famous to where people can't talk to me or people can't get to me so easily. But see, this person claims to be a man of the people. And when you claim to be a man of the people, why would you not want to have people have access to you in ways where they can actually speak to you, talk to you, or just try to get some game from you? And he has this mentality of being or seeing other people as peons or people that are beneath him, so to speak. We hear it in the way that he reacts to certain things and certain comedians that he talks about, or even some of the people that used to be around him on his own show. Now, I personally believe that Corey does deserve a shot. I think he is way past due. I think a lot of the things that he's said in the past, things that he's done, or, you know, just different clips that have gone viral or things that have been taken out of context just to be put out there in the world to make him look a certain way, I believe that has been one of the biggest hinders in his career. And I believe he knows that as well. Shout out to your man what is becoming a member of the GMS show. I appreciate you, man. You also can become a member by clicking that member button at the bottom. Become a GMS fan member. I appreciate you. Yo man what is. Also make sure y'all go check him out too. Subscribe to his channel as well. Now, I believe that Corey is talented enough to be a part of the same, I wouldn't say elite individuals. He may feel like he's an elite when it comes to comedy, but that's not enough in the entertainment industry. You got to be multifaceted. You got to be multi-talented. You got to be able to do more than one thing. And not to say that Corey is a one-trick pony, but his best skill is comedy and being on stage to do stand-up comedy. Now, even though I think he has done, you know, some great things when it comes to TV, you know, Black Jesus comes to mind. There's been some other things that he's been a part of, different movies and things like that. But we've never seen Corey in a role where he was one of the main individuals, a starring role. Now, do I think that he has the chops to be a star in a movie where he can lead the movie and be the main character? I don't know. But he says he's somebody that wants to get a $10 million to $20 million check. You can't get a $10 to $20 million check if you aren't the main character. And what comes with being the main character comes a lot of things that have to do with the industry and different things that you may have to do or may be subject to in order to be in that position. No pun intended. And a lot of people, and this is why I speak on this, because a lot of people know the things that he said in the past when it comes to Hollywood. It wasn't just, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. There was a lot of LGBTQ references in that. And one of those things is when people get a big check, what do they do for that check? How did they get that check? How did they get that opportunity? And 10 times out of 10, that man is going to let you know that there was some quote unquote backdooria activity that took place. Then to turn around and say that he wanted to now be a part of the same conglomerate that is not only putting people in certain positions, no diddler, and also knowing what they've tried to do to black men, black entertainers in the industry, as far as emasculate them and different things like that. Not even for us that specific agenda, but just because that's something that is so deep rooted in our history. To know that and to still want to take a chance raises a few eyebrows to me. But then it's conflicting because I also believe that he deserves a shot. We all, and it doesn't matter if we agree or disagree about things that Corey says. I believe that Corey is talented enough to get the opportunity that he deserves in Hollywood. But also, the rhetoric that has been spewed over the years makes it a lot contradicting. Very, very contradicting. Shout out to Dad, to the Max. Shout out to Andre Farrer. Shout out to Glow. I see y'all in the building. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. Because I want to play this clip so that y'all can hear it. Let's see. Now, this is the clip that I posted last week talking about Corey and what he said in regards to giving in to Hollywood. Right, you guys got to hear it.
But I'm saying I didn't even had dudes that was around me.
Yeah.
Around me for years. Mm-hmm. They leave and they say all this stuff about me. They say I'm a liar. They say I'm this. I'm like, well, why would you be around a motherfucker like that? Because I don't be around niggas. If I see you to be a nigga, I get ghosts on you. I get ghosts on you. And if I haven't gotten ghosts on you, I'm really scared. Every time I'm around you or talk to you, I'll be like, I got this old nigga right here. He trying to talk to me.
Man.
I might take on niggas. Because ever since the Cam interview, I've been getting called from straight up Hollywood niggas that already.
Hey, I do have a mic stand. Chet, I do have a mic stand. I've just now been more inclined to hold the mic. I have 2 mic stands, by the way. I just, for some reason, like holding the mic. I don't know what it is, but it's different. It's different to me. Anyway, let's keep going. Shout out to you, the Sheriffess. I see you.
No, Corey, you a motherfucking star. We can go and get this money if you want to. And these are people who I know can turn me into one of them motherfuckers that's in the movies and everything like this, because they plugged. I was laughing when some of them called me. Yeah. 2 of them especially. I was like, what's up, you crazy motherfucker? Cole, woo, 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 woo. And I'm like, man, but you a monster, dog. I'm scared of you. You might try to come at me in a way. I got to watch everything around you. Corey has been...
Hey, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a 5150 show in the recent months, I believe, or maybe it wasn't the recent months. Maybe it was towards the beginning of the year after the Katt Williams interview. But when he talked about Katt Williams in that interview, he said something along the lines of that, which made me think that who he was talking about, who called him, might have been Katt Williams. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a comedian that Corey was talking about where he said he would have to watch everything around him or watch how this person moved because they were unpredictable type, individual. And he was talking about Katt at the time. Now, fast forward to now, after he did the Cam Newton interview, he's getting calls from somebody who he believes he would have to watch himself around. I believe Katt hit him with the message like, hey man, it's about time we do this. Your comedy is this, my comedy is that. We can make this happen and get the bag together. Honestly, him not taking that stance or being able to take the opportunity, we're just speaking hypothetically because we don't know who called him. We don't know. He didn't say. But if it was Katt Williams, he should have took that. That would have been a perfect tour for him to go on because I believe that audience, definitely would gravitate or definitely be very well versed on Corey Holcomb, especially the 5150 show. Something tells me that even though he wants to do this, even though he wants to be a part of Hollywood or wants to get that big check, something about it is still making him hesitant. Something is still throwing him off, and I believe it is because he really is scared of what Hollywood may present to him. And if the numbers look good, like he said, now he said it in a joking way, but we also know there's also truth to some of the things that you say. Will he, and this is what I'm asking y'all, put a yes in the chat if you believe so, put a no in the chat if you don't. Do you believe Corey will compromise himself and his manhood and his morals and the things that he believes in and that he has been preaching for years on his show for the check? Chat, let me know. Let me know. Yes or no. Do you think Corey will be that type of guy? I want to see everybody that's in here right now answer that question. We're going to see how many of y'all believe in this. Let me read some of y'all comments, by the way. He said, shout out to I'm Serious. He said, okay, so he will be in some episodes of Average Joe. That is what he just told us. Katt, sure. Katt has no beef with Corey. Yeah, no, of course he doesn't have beef with Corey. If anything, he would want to work with Corey. Nikki Love says, I think they're scared of him because Corey speaks his mind regardless of who you are. Now, here's a misconception. I don't believe Hollywood's scared. I believe they are more inclined to just not even just mess with him. Not even in a scared way, because you got to understand there's so many people out here that still make the type of comedy or do like edgy comedy or shock value comedy. There's people out here that do that and make a bag doing it. So I don't think that the industry is necessarily scared of him. What they don't like is how he continues to portray it, but also wants to be a part of it. You either are against it or you're with it. Simple as that. I'm seeing a lot of people put yes in the chat. You guys think he would compromise his manhood? Wow. Corey will sell his Twizzler for a check. Oh, my God. Holy, not the Twizzler. Oh, my God. I'm going to say he'll sell his Twizzler. All right, let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. We got to hear the rest of this.
Years, man. We probably different now. We probably going a certain way. And I like to hear shit like that.
Man.
Sure, yeah.
But still, some of these people, I know who they are, so I have to, because I'm finna do something different. I done sat in this position a long time, knowing opportunity is there for me to get the other shit. So now that the other shit is calling me again, I might. What was Mike Epps' last special call? I might sell out. Sell out, something like that.
Yeah, right.
It was. I might have to go see what Hollywood talking about and deal with it and give it all I got until I just can't take it no more. Even though I'm too set in my ways.
Pause, double, triple, quadruple pause. Let's play that again.
Talking about and deal with it and give it all I got until I just can't take it no more. Even though
my man said he wanted to go into Hollywood and give it all he got until he can't take it no more. What does that sound like? Hey, yo. This is the type of stuff that sounds insane to me. Now, of course, he probably didn't mean it in that way. But like I said, somebody that finds the gay out of anything that is said and done, you would think that he would have heard himself and been like, oh, whoa, hold on. That was crazy. That was wild. I'm not even gonna lie. Yes, poor choice of words. We knew what he meant because obviously he's talking about his talent and the things that he could bring to the table. Let's not sit here and act like Corey does not bring value to the things that he is a part of. When I tell you my favorite character of Corey's that he's ever played in anything, whether it be a TV show or a movie, it has been Booney from Black Jesus. it's only because he played himself, basically, and not even in the sense of like who his character was as far as like his situation, but just how he acted. The way that he acted in that show, you could tell Corey was saying a lot of the lines that he put out for himself. I think he wrote a lot of his punchlines and different sayings and slogans and stuff like that. And I think that was one of the dopest things about his character. Everybody else is playing a certain type of character. Corey was able to be who he was in that series, and it made it funny. That was a very, very hilarious character. So he brings value to things, and he knows that. But I believe that he has spoken so foul of the industry that nobody wants to give him a chance. You got to understand, in any situation, there's going to be, what do you call it, man? It's like their own little family, their own little unit when it comes to Hollywood and when it comes to the entertainment industry. A lot of the things that they want to do behind closed doors, they want to keep it sacred. They want to keep it away from the public. That's why you have people out here that go too far, like a Diddy or like the Abercrombie & Fitch CEO and all these different people that really take advantage of their power and really take advantage of what's going on because they feel like they can get away with it, or they feel like there's some type of unwritten rule where people can't speak on the things going on in Hollywood because they want to be a part of it. I don't know. Shout out to Sean Mims for the $9.99. He said your music is dope. Yeah, we got some new music on the way, by the way. We gonna do that soon. So y'all stay tuned for that, man. I'm gonna be dropping some things on this channel. It's another reason why I've been kind of slower on the lives and the video clips. We getting some things together because we're gonna be mixing everything in. So just make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Shout out to Sean Mims for the $9.99. You know, the last half of this, because it did sound a little crazy, but I also knew what he meant. I'm not going to try to spread any type of narratives or any rumors or things like that. We'll leave that for the precises of the world, but it did sound pretty crazy. To be somebody who is so against Hollywood and the things that they bring to you to the table to try to make you do certain things, it's crazy that he would talk about giving in or selling out at any moment. You would think that half of the people watching 5150 that night would have tuned out after they heard that because of the things that he has said. This is probably why niggas hate me so much and what I do, because I'm somebody that likes to take somebody's word for it to see how they move and be like, yeah, you know, I mess with that person because they solid and they mean what they say and they really do stand on what they say. It's been way too many times where this guy has contradicted himself, and we all contradict ourselves. We all do. And I gotta make sure we hold on to the reality of that, the human nature of that, of being a hypocrite and being somebody who will be contradicting at times. But you have to understand the difference of somebody who stands on a platform every Wednesday or every Tuesday night and speaks as a matter of fact and talks about how he stands on certain things and talks about this and that. And a lot of it really goes back down, because when you say things like this, then you go back to the people that said, oh, he's just bitter and he's just this and that. Because if he truly stood on his anti-Hollywood, anti-backdooria, boo-booic plague ass stuff, then he would be nowhere near this type of contemplation of wanting to be a part of Hollywood. Now, that's just one part of it. But the second part of it really was like, I can't believe this is like his motive behind it. It's not really just about a check either. He wants the status. He wants to be revered as the other comedians he talks about that are in higher positions of him in the industry. Listen up.
I'm too set in my ways for certain shit to even begin to ride. But do I want a check for millions of dollars at one time?
Hell yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm tired of hopping dog LA to anywhere. Midwest on back. That's 3 to 4 hours there, 5-something hours back. I'm getting older, man. I might have to go get this money, because there's still people interested. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not done. It's like, oh, what the come on, man. Let's get this money. I'm talking about powerful people. And I be ducking them, scared of what Hollywood gonna bring to me.
Man.
But I'm tired of ducking. I'm about to be like, okay, what we gotta do? You know what I'm saying? What we gotta do? I can't put on the lipstick. I can't do none of that. But is there something we could do where I can get me a check for $10, $20 million? That's all I want. All I need is one of them checks.
They are not going to give up a $10 to $20 million check to nobody who isn't going to do what they want them to do. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be backdooria activities, sir. They could compromise you in other ways. They could put things in contracts that'll put you up in legal binds forever, to where that 10 or 20 million you just got is going back to them because of things that you refuse to do because of what you supposedly stand on. And then for somebody who doesn't trust managers and people that are in that position of, oh, we can manage this guy, we can do this, or we can help him with this and that, to not trust those people, because they're going to have to look over documents. You ain't going to be able to look over all that and know what you're doing. You're going to need somebody, you're going to need legal personnel to come and read those documents and read whatever contracts that they set in front of you and read the fine print. And on top of that, here's the biggest part too. Do y'all think that any Hollywood conglomerate is going to pay Corey Holcomb 10 to 20 million and allow him to continue to do the 5150 show? Do you think Hollywood will bring him in and say, hey, this is great, we'll hand you millions of dollars while you continue to go on your platform and talk about the things that are horrible about the industry that you work in? They tend to throw those people to the wolves, which is why we haven't seen Corey in anything in a long time. It's not because he's not talented. It's not because he can't bring nothing to the table. It's because his mouth cashed in a check that he could not write. That's not the saying, but you get what I'm saying. But we also have talked about the things that could help, but he would never listen or take consideration or try to even take advice from people that have never been through the things he's been through, or even has reached the pinnacles that he's reached in his comedy career. And that's valid. But at the same time, when a good idea comes to the table, no matter who is bringing it up, maybe you should take heed, because there's bags out here for Corey. There's a lot of bags out here for Corey besides just stepping on a comedy stage. How many times must we reiterate the fact that he should be able to come out with at least an hour special? With all the things that have happened over time, all the things that he's commented on, all the things that he has spoken about over the years, he can easily record a special at the Coin Academy, fill up that little room with whoever they want to fill it up with, get the camera. They already got the cameras. They got the production value. You got the lights. You can build a small stage right in the middle. You take the tables out from 5150 and put a little stage there, get a microphone. You dress up in the little weird ass outfits you wear, and you do an hour special for the people. Put it on Patreon, sell it for $20. I guarantee you 1,000 people will pay $20, 1,000, and I'm lowballing the number. 1,000 people will pay $20 to watch that special on Patreon and get Corey a nice little bag. And out of those 1,000 people that paid $20 so they can see that, will forget that they paid $20 because it's gonna go, it's gonna backtrack and it's gonna go into the next month because they're gonna forget they had a subscription. And he gonna make another $20 from at least half of them. You know what I'm saying? It's easy money, and it's not like he's not funny. Why doesn't Corey have an hour special laid out already? Even if he doesn't have anything lined up to record it, why don't you have an hour already written out? Why don't you already have the material? That's what conflicts me when it comes to certain things that he's done. He's hitting the stage every week, right? He's always booked out. Always booked out. There's no excuse. I see people like Ali Sadiq funding his own thing, put his own specials out on his YouTube channel, getting millions and millions of views on his channel off of his own specials. Corey has the resources, he has the people, and he has the reach. Even the people that don't like Corey watch Corey. You get what I'm saying? But that Hollywood acceptance that he wants so bad, and also paying attention to the negativity so much instead of the people that support you, is honestly what I feel like is holding him back. Now let's keep going because I want y'all to hear this last part.
I don't need to be here. I could do this from Texas.
Man.
Right, yeah.
Where it's affordable to live in a big ass house with a big ass backyard. You know, Lavelle moved to Texas. Lavelle Crawford.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Lavelle out there raising his family, man. Man, look, I love LA.
Man.
I love LA, but I know out here, your house
Somebody that
is
protects-
being rented. You're renting your house out here. Property taxes in LA, dog, is the craziest you ever heard of in your life.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you working just to keep it, even if you got paper. Darlene, you know what I'm talking about? And that was back then.
That
So
was
can
back
you
then.
imagine what the property taxes are?
Nope.
All them people who live over there by the new stadiums in Inglewood,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
they gonna have to sell their house eventually.
Yeah.
Because they ain't gonna be able to come up with $25,000, $30,000 a year just to have a house. I'm finna do this. I'm finna go on here, get my Hollywood game on, and just stare at these motherfuckers in my rear view. Cause I'm tired of the busters thinking that they can motherfucking reach me. I'm about to. My brother Kevin Hart used to change his number so much. I didn't get it at first.
Man.
All them folks do.
Emails, all that. Unreachable.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how
You like this to them motherfuckers. It's like the Heisman on them motherfuckers.
that'd be crazy. If
I never wanted to be that way, but I know to get this bread, you got to not hear the influence of the nothing mother.
level.
So what you guys think about what Corey had to say?
The nothing. Now, even though I sort of understand what he's saying, it does not pass me by to realize that he wants to be at a certain status in life. He wants to be revered as the Kevin Harts, as these individuals he sees getting Netflix specials. Corey should have definitely had a Netflix special by now. He has the reach. He has the audience. He has the constant clips going viral. He literally dominates YouTube and different platforms that post his clips that want to, shock the average viewer or the average listener that doesn't know anything about 5150. It is a no-brainer that he's sellable. He can sell if he wanted to. What is truly holding him back, in my opinion, is the way he looks at things and the way he reacts to certain things. I'm telling you right now, there's money on the table waiting for Corey. I just don't think he wants to take it. I don't think he wants to take it. I think he's saying it to make it sound good, but at the end of the day, there's something holding him back. Now, some of those things also. Now let's just say that because I do believe that he's saying this also because it's on the brink of him getting millions of views on the Cam Newton interview, and he's feeling himself, and he's got the calls from different people. Sometimes I think Corey Holcomb forgets he's Corey Holcomb, and when certain people call him or when certain people show him love, he be like, oh man, this person showed me love, I couldn't believe it. But it's like, how can't you believe it? You're Corey Holcomb. You're the guy that, you know what I'm saying, you make people laugh every week. How could you not think that people will want to reach out to you or want to work with you? But he gets ahead of himself sometimes when he speaks the way that he does about these situations. He gets super hype about it. He starts talking in certain ways, and he starts living vicariously through other entertainers and comedians who are super rich and famous and got more notoriety than him. He believes he should be on the same playing field as him or as them. But see, when we talk about certain things that Corey has said, some of those things have come back to bite him. For instance, Steve Harvey. We remember that Corey had some things to say about Steve Harvey, and not just Steve Harvey, but Steve's wife. He was calling her a bust down, everything short of a whore. And he ended up getting a phone call from either Steve or Steve's people. And we have not heard a word about Steve Harvey again ever uttered out of Corey Holcomb's mouth. Not again. And we all know what Katt Williams did at the beginning of the year. We all know that he was talking about Steve Harvey in his groundbreaking interview that still gets talked about all the way up until now. We're in October, almost November, and they still responding to Katt Williams. Now, we know Steve said something along the lines earlier, like a month ago at an event. It was very clear that he was talking about Katt Williams because he was talking about somebody short and somebody little. But see, a new I don't know if it's a documentary or a film, whatever it is, just dropped on Vice, where they brought on the remaining members of the Kings of Comedy: Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley. Of course, rest in peace to Bernie Mac. They talked about a lot of things during that interview, but one thing Steve did was take the time to respond or say things, not just reference to Katt Williams, but referencing comedians on podcasts talking about other comedians. And we all know that Corey Holcomb is one of those people, one of those comedians that gets on his podcast and tears down other comedians. That's a fact. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. Y'all can be like, oh, how's he tearing down when these people ain't funny? Why would you even go on your platform to speak down on anybody in the same genre as you in the first place? And you an OG in the game. Why would you want to be somebody that's known for tearing down other comedians as an OG comic instead of embracing the younger generation? That's another bag he missed on. Another bag. So many young comedians coming up will look up to Corey if they didn't feel like they had to be scared of being around him or him saying something about him or him not liking them because they're a young up-and-coming comedian that ain't on his level. Shout out to Sean Mims for the $9.99 again in the super chat. Appreciate you for supporting the GMS show in a big way. He said he regrets running his mouth why he can't stay 10 toes like Eddie Griffin. He not begging. Yeah, and Eddie Griffin is one of those people that will never beg. I don't think Eddie Griffin has it in him to beg. I think he's one of those people that does stand on the things he says and is unapologetic about it. Now, I'm going to play y'all what Steve said because it's important y'all hear it. But, yeah, these are the clips that I'm going to X these clips out because we not even going to talk about that. You know, because they're running smear campaigns on Corey right now. Like, Corey talks about the people that talk foul about him or say negative things about him or always saying stuff or trying to make a YouTube living off of talking crazy about him. This man is on the hub.news where they running headlines saying if Corey Holcomb were more famous, we'd have known how much he sucked sooner. Look at that headline. Look at this headline. If Corey Holcomb were more famous, we'd have known how much he sucked sooner. Then let me read some of this article to y'all. They said this week, first of all, who was this written by? This was written by Kyla Janae Lacey. Who is she? Let's see who she is. We have to see who she is first. Who wrote this? Is there no picture of her up here? No? Oh, there she is. Here's Kyla Janae Lacey. This person is an accomplished third-person bio composer whose spoken word has garnered tens of millions of views and has been showcased on Pop Sugar, Right About Now, BuzzFeed, Harper's Bazaar, blah, 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 blah. She has performed spoken word at over 300 colleges in over 40 states. Kyla has been a finalist in the largest regional poetry slam in the country no less than 5 times and was nominated as Campus Activities Magazine Female Performer of the Year. Sounds like a top-tier feminist. Shout out to her, man. Shout out to Kyla Janae. She wrote this article. She said, this week, Cam Newton released an interview with D-list comedian, D-list, Corey Holcomb. The two sat down on his podcast for almost 3 hours of Holcomb spouting hypocritical nonsense directed at women. Early on in the interview, Holcomb brought up BBLs, which he claims are done by dumb B-words who suffer from mental illness but has no problem having sex with the women having sex with women who have them. Corey goes into further detail by excusing women who felt pressure to get BBLs because of hustle culture, and that is somewhat excusable because they were without a leader, a man, of course, and immediately used actions done in his youth as an example of when he used to do dirt to get money. Fortunately for him, he was able to get from under the spell of hustle culture. Maybe he too was without his man to lead him during that time. Holy, she's cooking. I'm sorry, she's cooking a little bit. She's reading them like a little book. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. Later in the interview, the two played a word association game where Newton reads a name and Holcomb has to answer with only one word. Fortunately for him, out of all the words thought leader Holcomb's neurons could come up with, he used the word hustler for Donald Trump and fake for Kamala Harris. The guy born rich who scammed people out of millions has a spray tan and hair plugs is not the fake one. And the woman who grew up in a working class neighborhood and is now running for president is not the hustler. Okay. When asked about Jess Hilarious in the same game, he called her unhilarious. Jess has a job and 6 million followers on Instagram, while Corey has 144,000 followers on Instagram and an IMDb, with the latest entry being in 2019. Oh God. I'm gonna throw Corey some bail here because this is exactly why Corey does not mess with YouTube comedians or Instagram comedians, because putting a follower count and trying to equate that to somebody being more successful or more funny than another comic is absurd. It's blasphemous. Corey may have 144,000 followers on Instagram, but he is a hell of a lot funnier than Jess Hilarious. I'm just saying. I mean, we got to keep it real. Once you start talking about the followers and stuff like that, I don't care about none of that. Are you funny? Are you talented? Huh? Can you kill it? Are you going to sell out an arena by yourself? Are you going to sell at a comedy club by yourself? Or do you need to bring on other popular internet comics to help you fill the room up? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Chet Perry said, GMS, what do you think of Corey and Jaguar Wright? I think they are brother and sister. I think that they were meant to be. You know what I'm saying? I think they're meant to be together in this situation. I think that she should be a reoccurring guest on 5150 so that they can have more interesting and very entertaining conversations. That episode worked. And a lot of people enjoyed that episode. Me personally, I don't really care for Jaguar Wright or anything that she has to say because I find her to be a little bit of a kook. But entertaining, yes. I'd watch her the same way I watch Orlando Brown. I'm not taking anything they're saying super serious, but it's super entertaining at the same time. Social media boutique. What's going on, man? He said, think you're hating just a tad. He's always been consistent with saying he wishes Hollywood wasn't like it. But if anybody like Kev or Nick can hold the door open, he gonna make the most of it. Well, that's the thing too. Like, I don't think it's hating to say that he has put himself in this position himself. And even though he talks about Hollywood or he wishes Hollywood was a certain type of way, he goes in on Hollywood every chance he gets. So if you're somebody that wants acceptance from Hollywood, it's like the Helga effect from Hey Arnold. Arnold not gonna mess with you, Helga, because every time you see him, you punch him in the face, putting gum in his hair, or calling him names. But then behind closed doors, you in love with the nigga. Writing in your notebook about the nigga. Wanting him to fall in love with you. It's the Helga effect. What do you think is gonna happen? Arnold can't stand that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Arnold, in this case, is Hollywood. Helga, in this case, is Corey Holcomb. That's just what it is to me. You can't go and speak so foul and negatively of something and then expect them to throw $10 to $20 million at you. That $10 or $20 million have to be crowdfunded by other popular comedians that like Corey. It's not going to come from the industry. I promise you that. You know what I'm saying? He said Jaguar is a nut. Yes, she is. Shout out to you, Black Polo. I see you, fam. DJ Travel said, I can't stand her. That's one of the few episodes of 5150 I didn't watch. Let's see. Social Media Boutique said, you're reaching by claiming he's being contradictory. He isn't. Now that the Cam interview has some of his old Hollywood contacts reaching out, he can't get a bag. Nah, homie, that's not necessarily true. We didn't say he can't get the bag. I'm saying what you do has an effect. That's all that is. What you do has a direct effect of how things pan out for you. So even if he does have other Hollywood comics, reaching out to him, or other, Hollywood contacts reaching out to him, they can reach out as much as they want, and they can have as much pull as they want. But the people that are in charge of making these things happen, or even getting you the bag that you want, if they don't mess with it, they're not going to care. Kevin Hart is a huge comedian, actor, entertainer, whatever, businessman, all of that. He would have to fund his own project to be able to have Corey be a part of it. And that's not because niggas is hating on Corey. It's because of how a lot of people in the industry just don't want to mess with him. And it's people that's behind closed doors. It's not even just the people in the front. It's not just other comedians or celebrities. It's the people that's working on these sets and on these platforms. You know what I'm saying? That's all that is. What's going on, Charlie? We said this is like an economist saying the economy is bad. It's his opinion. Yeah, but we're talking about somebody that actively wants to work in the Hollywood space. It's okay to have critiques. I'm not saying that. You can have critiques, but those critiques, the certain critiques that Corey has about Hollywood, aren't just normal critiques like, oh, they're not paying people enough, or they're not giving the people the right shine. It's not just that. He's talking about things that he's talking about crimes that are being committed. Like, he's talking about people doing X, Y, and Z. Like, there's repercussions for that. And it's not that I don't believe it. That's the thing. Corey has seen things. I believe that majority of Hollywood is the way that he says it is. But you can't be the person that is preaching that and then on the other end expect this same entity to pay you millions of dollars. That is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. He's done movies, Cleveland Show, and Black Jesus, though there are some licks that could work without him having to compromise. The Cam interview has made it to where maybe a Kev or whoever can work with it. Hey, maybe, but good luck. That's all I'm saying. Maybe, but good luck. Because if that was the case, they would have been did it. The Cleveland Show when he was on, that wasn't just in the past 2 years. Black Jesus wasn't just in the past 2-3 years. These are things that have already happened years ago where people could have came to Corey without a Cam Newton interview to throw him a lick. It shouldn't take that's another thing. It shouldn't even take the Cam Newton interview for him to get a shot from for the people that he knows that already threw him licks. It shouldn't take that. They know what they get when they mess with Corey. So it shouldn't have to take him being on a big platform to do that. He already has a big platform. That's another crazy part. This man already has a big platform. He didn't need to go on the Cam Newton show. He could just go on his show. 10,000 plus people watching him live. It should never have to take that at all. Let's see. He said Kendrick Lamar video was 5 years ago. Exactly. All these things that we've seen Corey in these major, shows or movies or even music videos, all these things have come to him because the people reached out to him directly. It wasn't that nobody from Hollywood, a director or a lawyer or manager or somebody in the department of this and that. No, it was people that hit him directly because he is a man of the people. I think a lot of people need to come to terms that he has kicked his own self in the ass and has prevented himself from getting the opportunities that he deserves. Understand what I'm saying? Deserved. I've been saying that this whole time. So hate. I don't ever want to hear nobody saying I'm hating. Ever. When I've spent the first 20 minutes of this talking about what he deserves and how talented he is and how much he should be able to get these opportunities. I don't want to hear about hate. I'm being a realist about the situation. When you keep it real about a situation, you ain't gotta sit back and be a hypocrite or be contradicting about the things you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge misconception, and you know that too. Social media boutique, you've been here for a minute. You should already know. It's never been no hate. I'm just speaking from my opinion and from what I'm seeing, and I could be wrong. I say that all the time too. I could be wrong. It's just my opinion. I never speak a matter of fact because I could be wrong. See, that's another thing about the world that's messed up, because a lot of people, when they speak, they think they are right. Not you in particular, my guy, but I'm just saying in general. A lot of people believe that what they're saying is facts instead of speaking from a situation they don't know about from just an opinionated stance. This is only my opinion and how I feel from what I've been seeing. Now, granted, I have been right about a lot. I have foreshadowed a lot of things. All this stuff is documented on this page. I have called out a lot of things that has ended up happening. Now, if we see in the near future this man do a special at the Coin Academy, I want y'all to go back to how many times I've made this suggestion over the months. All right? And I don't want to hear nobody be like, oh, they probably already had that going, man. You think you somebody that tell you think you brought this up? Nah, nigga, I brought up a very amazing idea. A very lucrative and very easy to do idea. And niggas watch me. Despite what anybody thinks, them niggas watch. They hate what I do and what I say, but they watch. And all I'm saying is invest in yourself because you can. Do it because you can. You understand? I believe in that guy. I don't care. I don't care if there's issues. I don't care. Matter of fact, let me tell you why there's no real issues between me and Corey. Even though he said he wanted to run the fade a couple months ago, Corey was just here on the 17th, I think it was. That man did not call me. That man did not call me to try to run a fade. He didn't call to try to meet up. He didn't call to try to come face to face. Pause. He didn't do none of that. No hits in the DMs. No private phone calls, talking shit. None of that. I just want to be very clear to y'all that it was not me who challenged that man. It was that man who challenged me. It was that man that said he is always, it ain't nothing but a pit stop for him to stop in Minnesota whenever he's going somewhere. It's a connecting flight. Well, guess what? You came directly to Minnesota. You performed 15 minutes away from where I lived. You know that because you had people look up my address. You didn't call me. You didn't say, hey, let's run that fade. I get you had 2 broken wrists recently, so that might have deterred you. There's another reason why you shouldn't be talking shit on the internet, especially when people believe in you and actually think that you stand on what you say. And I told people that it wasn't going to happen. I told people ain't no phone call happening. Ain't nobody finna hit me up and say, hey, man, meet me here. None of that. Never. And that's not even me trying to be tough. I'm not a tough guy. I'm just big as shit. You're not just gonna whoop my ass. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's not that easy. It's not as easy as you think. See, I think a lot of people be like, oh, it's a YouTuber, so the YouTubers are little 4'11", little scrawny, little incel, little cucks, little simps who's scared to go outside. You know what I'm saying? It's not that easy. That's all I'm saying. Now, let's get to what Steve Harvey had to say. I'm gonna go in and say because let's get to what he had to say. Steve Harvey was on with his fellow kings of comedy. Like I said, shout out to all these guys. Rest in peace to Bernie Mac. He has something to say about comedians who talk foul about other comedians on podcasts. Listen to this.
Right. These 2 dudes right here matter to me in a way where, like, you know, like he say, like if we going through something, we'll call each other because we feel for each other because we know the real person.
Right. Yeah.
I know they lying about you online. I know that podcast is bullshit. Hanging that dog, don't pay no attention to that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and look, man, just because you can talk smooth without saying, it don't mean you ain't lying.
Right.
I be sitting up here looking at these podcasts of these other comedians that's going on talking about other comedians. Hold up, dog. Where did that shit come from? When did we become that? When did we get into tear each other down business? Because you ain't never heard me say not a disparaging remark against another comedian nowhere. You ain't heard him or him. Because we ain't cut from that cloth.
Right.
So why are you? What is your motive for doing this here? And you're not going to tear him down. And look, man, I got a real platform.
He said Steve got a coonish voice. That's crazy, bro. Hold on, I gotta answer this. They said, what did he say? He said, why didn't you go to the show? For one, I'm not paying a nigga who thinks I'm a hoe ass nigga. I'm not paying a ticket to go see him. I'm not giving him my money. That's stupid. That would actually make me a hoe ass nigga. Like somebody will call you a hoe and call you a bitch ass nigga, and then you go to their show and pay money to go and see them and give them what? That sounds crazy. That's why a lot of people hit me up. A lot of people hit me up and asked me if I was going to that show, and I told them the same exact thing. Why would I give that man my money when he thinks a certain way, or he has said certain things about me, or even done some hoe shit behind the scenes that y'all don't even know about? Y'all don't even know about it. Why would I give him my money? If anything, I could have stopped the show from happening. That's a conversation for another day. So, you know, we don't stop black men from making their money around here. We not ignorant. We not no niggas that will try to prevent you from doing what you have to do, what you make a living for. You know what I'm saying? You make a living doing this. Why would I want to stop him from doing that? Why would anybody want to do that in the first place? You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't make sense. But I'm not that type of guy. You know what I'm saying? A few people hit me that day. Hey man, you know so and so, man, who cares? It's like I really don't think people understand how much I really don't care about the extra stuff. It's just extra stuff. Extra stuff. It don't mean nothing. It's entertainment. These guys really ain't about that. I'm not finna go out of my way to do shit. They not going out their way to do shit. If anything, they care more about their money and their fans than the shit that they spewing on the internet, basically. But we never ducking nothing. I promise you that. Now listen to more of what Steve had to say before we move on.
A radio show to do 9.5 million people every day on it. I could cut that mic on and let you have it. I'm talking about I could fix your career on a permanent basis, partner, because I got 4 hours a day to do it. I don't do that.
Right.
I ain't got no minutes for you, man.
Right.
I'm not in the tear down business. I'm in the uplift business, regardless as to what you say. And look, man, I'm like an internet sensation. They just do me on the internet just because there's nothing else to do.
Wait, let me send this right now.
I'll be like, damn, man. And I'll be like, damn, because I ain't done half the stuff they say I do. But that's a part of the process, because everything you going through is God preparing you for where he taking you. So now I had to develop this alligator skin, because I was going to be in the forefront of a lot of stuff, you know. I was first black game show host, first black to host Miss Universe, first person to do this, first person to attempt that. Well, that puts you out in front of a lot of stuff. When you get out in the front, man, you get a lot of haters. And I say this to all my dudes, man, when I'm talking to them. You got to understand something about a hater. You've never had a hater that's doing better than you.
That's a bar.
Ever. Think of all your haters. Ain't none of your haters doing better than you. So now what's the purpose now? So you gotta understand now what it is. The haters is to throw you off track and distract you. And you gotta distract me because you see where I'm headed. But regardless of all the distractions, like say, I know how to get up. I'm gonna get up because it ain't about you. Haters are not decision makers, power brokers, or shakers and movers.
Right.
They just haters, man. They got one job, to rob you of your destiny.
What do you guys think about what Steve was saying there? What do y'all think? Do y'all think Steve is saying some real stuff, or is Steve? Is he done? Like I don't know. I mean, I agree with a lot of things he be saying as far as like the haters and stuff like that. Great analogies, but also you're never above criticism, no matter who you are. Now, whether or not it was hating or criticism, that's subjective for the people that listen to the Katt interview. In my opinion, Katt was responding to something that Steve said on the same platform. Now, that part is escaping Steve's memory for some reason. Let's not forget that. I don't think Katt Williams would have said what he said about Steve Harvey if Steve didn't go on Club Shay Shay and make reference or say something about Katt. In my opinion, Katt was just responding. It's just that his response was more loud and more prominent, and it rang through a lot more ears than what Steve said about him. Also, I do believe that Steve was talking, and since he put it in a broader scale, he was talking about Corey Holcomb as well. Because Corey is somebody, regardless of how you feel, is somebody who goes on his platform and talks down on a lot of comedians. Now, that's not to say that he hasn't uplifted other comedians or talked about other comedians being funny and giving props to the people who he believes deserves it. But for the most part, we aren't hearing Corey talk about the good comedians. We're hearing him talk about who's not funny on stage, who's mediocre, who's mild. Let's see what he said. Social media said, Steve talking about tearing other comedians down, but he tried to get Monique to keep her head down so black elitist Illuminati members can keep the underlings in their place. It's indirect tear down. Yeah, that clip was probably the wildest thing that I've seen as far as like the things that Steve has said. The way that he interacted with Monique on his show that day was basically telling her to shut up and take it. That's kind of how I took it. That was wild to me. Very wild to me. Let's see. Ain't nobody talking about Mr. Potato Head. Seriously. White comedians don't do this to each other. No, they don't. They don't. You're right. Corey saying somebody is a F nigga is one thing, but several motherfuckers saying you a F nigga, where there's smoke, there's fire. Plenty of white comics beef with each other, fam. Dice Clay beef with Sam Kinison. Yeah, you know, I do hear this argument a lot. White comedians don't do this to each other. The thing about it is, it's just more, I think how we go about it gets more attention because white comedians definitely beef with each other. Their beef, though, you'll never know about it until it's brought up somewhere, and then people be surprised by it. Like, oh, my God, I had no idea that you guys didn't like each other, because all their stuff is behind the scenes, basically. A lot of ours is in the forefront because a lot of the times we, as black people, aren't scared to say what's on our minds. So that's how I take it. He said, I don't agree. There is a such thing as people hating down. Yeah, there is. There definitely is. He also spoke on him, and he addressed the rumors of him and Cedric the Entertainer and DL Hughley treating Bernie Mac like shit. I want to play that thing because I want y'all to hear their reasoning behind it, because we all have heard the stories about how they treated Bernie. And I could tell, like, when after I've learned about those situations, you know, and the things that, you know, allegedly happened between these guys, and how Steve treated Bernie, and how it really didn't seem like they really believed in Bernie the way that they believe in him after he became such a household name and after he passed. You know, I see the way that they looked at him, how they interacted with him. Like, if you go back and watch the Kings of Comedy, Bernie was saying certain things, and it was like an underlying joke, but it also was the truth behind it. Bernie believed that he deserved a shot. Bernie believed that he deserved to be in a position to win. He was like, give me a TV show, do that, do this. You could see the way that people like Cedric was looking at him, the way Steve was looking at him. To me, I could see a little bit of hate in their eyes, a little bit of envy. And that usually happens with people who are talented, but also know that there could be a potential threat to how they are perceived as a comedian next to this nigga. Bernie was a closer for a reason. You have to think about it. All these guys were in the forefront of things. Steve, already doing shows, already a household name, already in movies. Cedric the Entertainer, same with him. DL Hughley, same with him. Bernie, he was in the movies that a lot of people didn't revere until later on and called them cult classics and things like that at the time. But he was so well known and known as somebody that could tear the house down that they had no choice but to put that man last, because none of them could follow behind Bernie. And I stand by that statement. Not Cedric, Steve, or DL could stand a chance going up behind a Bernie Mac. They had absolutely no choice but to put him in that position. So inevitably that came with envy. That came with preconceived notions. That came with judgment. That came with disbelief in the form of, oh, I don't think he could be able to do this, or I don't think he should be able to get this. I don't think he can do that. I don't think they'll understand him. But look what Bernie did with his career before dying at such a young age. Until this day, these individuals has had all the time since Bernie has passed to put out some type of quality work, and they still can't hold a candle to that man. And I don't want to sound disrespectful, because these guys are great in their own right as comedians and entertainers. But none of them, not a one of them, was better than Bernie Mac. That is a fact. That's not an opinion. Now, I wanted to say that before we listen to the clip because it was very important that y'all got that part at least. Listen to this.
But it seems so unfair. And I remember it's Ricky Harris and Robin Harris and Bernie and David Arnold that all the sentiment I had when they all passed was this seems so patently unfair because the world is finally gonna get a chance to see what we always saw.
See, and the thing for me was with Bernie was a special dude, man. So you know when I hear stuff about us and I hear stuff about the dissension, I don't really know what they talking about. Because the thing about Bernie was a man's man. Mm-hmm. So when somebody say, you know, they treated Bernie like shit, that was impossible. Bruh, that was impossible. This dude right here was Chicago South Side to his core and blood. You mistreat this dude right here, you know the problem you're gonna have instantly.
But what was going on in Bernie's room?
That was a whole nother situation.
He was.
We have to leave that alone.
I told Sted one time. I said, I'm not
do nothing. Bernie drank beer and
a Miller
Genuine Draft, and he
smoked cigar,
and he walk alone.
Yeah.
As soon as we had to go to the after party every night.
Right.
And as soon as the Crown Royal people came in and Bernie saw him, Bernie was gone.
Yep, he was a whole different thing.
Bernie didn't do none of this, man.
No.
Bernie didn't do none of this.
I didn't either.
Let me point something out because that to me is interesting. I feel like that saying, I walk alone, even though Bernie had family, you know, he was married, he had kids, you know what I'm saying? He definitely had family around him. He said that for a reason because I feel like he knew what space he was in. He knew him as a comedian, him as an entertainer, actor, all those things, and being in the industry he was in, he didn't want to get mixed up in nothing. That is somebody who, if he was still alive today, you wouldn't hear no allegations on him. You wouldn't hear no woman coming up and say, Bernie did this to me, did this to me back in the day, or this guy saying, oh, Bernie mistreated me, this and that. Bernie made sure he stayed away from all of that. Did you hear what he said? He said when these people came in, Bernie left. Yes, because he didn't want to be mixed up in none of that with y'all. Bernie knew exactly what he was getting himself into, and he knew that he had to make a lane and a way for himself, and he knew he was talented enough to do so. That spins back to our conversation about Corey. I believe Corey can do the same thing. He is capable of doing that. He is capable of staying away from the temptations and things that they bring to you and still perform and do what you need to do without having any type of controversy or negativity attached to your name. It's a possible thing to do, especially when you're talented and you're funny and you can make it happen. But do I believe they didn't treat Bernie like shit? No, I don't know. It's convenient. It's convenient to say that. But do I really believe it? I don't know. I don't truly know. One thing I do know is that I found this video while I was looking up Steve Harvey videos, and I wanted y'all to see this because I forgot I did this last year, and I want to make sure y'all see it because it's very important that y'all see the video I made of the AI Steve Harvey pictures that went viral last year. It was very important. So I think you guys should watch this in its entirety. Here we go. Look at this. Who did this to Steve? He said, Marjorie! Why did you have to go f that security guard? I loved you. Ah! Survey says you a hoe. Ah, Marjorie. This is a story of how Steve Harvey found out his wife was cheating on him. No, not the security guard. Ah! Marjorie! What am I gonna tell the kids? Nigga just got here from taping Family Feud. He had to find out the bad news as soon as he walked in the door. Ah! Bitch, I knew it! Ah, I should have that Puerto Rican hoe while he was on vacation. Marjorie, why? My man said, Marjorie. Marjorie. Yo, I know y'all remember that. They said Marjorie cheated on my mans with the security guard. I wasted no time to make a video about that because I just felt like this is just a great mixture with these AI pictures, man. This man looked like he was down and out and twisted and befuddled. His flabbers were gasted. That's how I took it. I gotta post that video again and post it on my IG. Anyway, let's keep going, man. So y'all know Lil Durk was arrested for murder for hire charges. There's not much I can say on this besides the fact that y'all niggas is dumb and slow, and I can't believe that y'all always get to a point where you make something of yourselves. You can be anything that you want to be. You take care of your family. You can make all the money in the world and still feel like you have to prove something to ain't shit niggas. Y'all will jeopardize everything that you work for. All the stages you done hopped on, all the songs you recorded, all the money that you have spent, all the money that you have made just so you can go and spend the rest of your natural life behind bars. And for something that didn't have to happen. I don't know if you know this, but King Von died because he chose to act out of character. Maybe it was in character, I don't know, but he acted out. He put himself in that position. Did that young man deserve to die? I don't know. They said he was a demon in Chicago. Maybe he did deserve to die. I don't know. Maybe it was better for him not to be on this earth. Maybe a lot of other black lives were saved in the very neighborhood that he lived in since he's passed. I don't know. But the fact that Durk decided that he needed get back for his own guy's mishap, it was his fault. It was his fault. Call it harsh if you want. Say I'm being insensitive if you want. But King Von is the reason why King Von is dead. You seen a nigga you didn't like and you hauled off on him and then you got shot for it. It's a sad situation, and I wish it didn't happen. I wish a lot of these young black men in these neighborhoods didn't do this shit to themselves, but you be asking for it. Y'all be putting yourselves in these situations. And then when they get killed, people want to act like, oh my God, why is this going on? Oh man, RIP, and oh man, let's make a mural. No, we're not memorializing killers. We're not memorializing the niggas that reiterate and reinforce negative stereotypes and put people in the dirt. Our own people, we not memorializing them. I'm sorry. I can't memorialize that person. I don't care if he had great music or not. And then you have dudes who do things without thinking. This man wasn't thinking. The people around him are even dumber. Like, you cannot trust a nigga from the hood that ain't got no common sense, especially if you out here trying to do dirt. It's always going to blow back on you, no matter what. Now, this man is behind bars. He's facing the death penalty. Murder for hire is grounds for the death penalty, life in prison or the death penalty. And seeing as the person that helped put him behind bars was somebody in his own camp, a man by the name of OTF Jam, who was around Durk and even wore a wiretap around Durk, has no idea. And this is the thing, too. When you engage in buffoonery and you're doing things that can bring you life in prison, I know Durk is sitting back thinking about all the conversations he had in front of that man and which times he had on a wire. He is shitting a brick right now. A whole brick. Because you want to prove something to people that you don't need to prove shit to. And then it starts making sense. This nigga turned into a Muslim, and then he came out with a song with a bunch of kids talking about all my life they've been trying to bring me down. He said, I'm trying to come in a menace, but the media call me a menace. Because you are. You are a menace. You can't change my perspective. You know, I came from the trenches. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Gonna make a song like that after you already made songs confessing the different things that you did in the streets. That's another thing I hate. I hate that so much. I just seen a video the other day on Drewski's page of literal cops sitting in a break room watching music videos. Just watching people telling themselves. These niggas be on their lunch break eating oodles and noodles while watching you confess. These niggas, police don't even have to do investigations anymore. They just go to YouTube, type in this rapper from this city, and just watch the video. What? King Luke, you my guy, my Minnesota brethren. I love you, brother. You know that. I'm telling you this right now. These hard times, that nigga Durk created. And I can never feel bad for a nigga that created this situation for himself. They didn't target this man. They didn't plant nothing on him. They didn't force him to do this. This man became a multimillionaire who was able to change his family's lives and decided to be a dumb nigga for no reason. I'm sorry, but I cannot feel bad for him. I can't. You wanna know why I can't? Matter of fact, let me just go to it. Let me just do it. Let me do it. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do for y'all. And this because I got a lot of love for you, King Lukey. I'm gonna just play you why I feel this way. Listen.
Black people.
Yeah, this is a real victory. This is a real victory. Now that demonic force, because it is a demonic force. It was a dark force. It was a dark energy that came down from Chicago and spread throughout America. I think we now finally get to put that fire out. I don't think we'll hear drill music ever again. I don't think drill rappers would ever be celebrated ever again. Down goes the drill. Down goes the drill. 12th round knockout. Because it looked like they had got away and they get to ride off into the sunset. So this is a victory for law-abiding black Americans who like hip-hop music but don't like the killing part of it. So we get.
It's a lot of free Durks right now. It's a lot of the free Durk campaign has begun.
Every day I'm gonna wake up trolling. Every day I'm gonna wake up trolling because they blackballed Quando Rondo because he was self-defending himself. They blackballed Lil Tim because he was standing up for a friend. Homie, come on now.
Hey man. Sometimes when Charleston White speaks, he's right. He may be somebody that goes over the top. He may be somebody who is overly disrespectful. I may not agree with all the things he says, but sometimes you got to give credit where credit is due, and that man is absolutely right about that. And let me tell you why I feel that way is because not all black people who enjoy rap music enjoy the reinforced negative stereotypes that come with it. Because we know that we all get categorized in the same way. We all get categorized. It don't matter what we believe in. You black, you listen to rap, you like that gangster shit, period. You'd have to prove that to the average person who isn't black. And now, given how some black people be moving in 2024, you might have to convince them too. Because they be spewing the same white supremacist rhetoric that the people that don't like them even be talking about. That's why it's crazy to me how some people be leaning towards certain sides knowing that these people don't care about you. They just actually care about the fact that you just helping them push their narrative. I'm never standing with or for any racist individuals because they got policies I like. And I heard somebody say that the other day. I forgot who it was. They said, oh, just because somebody's racist doesn't mean I'm not going to or this person has the policies or whatever the case may be. Y'all got to remember, these things still got to get passed. These things still have to come into fruition. These things still have to happen. All the promises that the politicians make you, they still have to get these things passed in Congress. They still have to make these things happen. And then when they don't, people be blaming, oh, the Democrats or the Republicans stopped this from going and all this stuff. Yes, they did, because they don't like each other and they don't like you. They don't care about what you want. They don't care about what it is you desire. They don't work for the people. They work for themselves. We got into so many political conversations on this channel before, and I stand always corrected. These people do not care about you. Donald Trump doesn't care about you. Kamala Harris don't care about you. Joe Biden don't care about you. None of these people care about you. They have become professional politicians and speakers and manipulators. Trump being the greatest one of them. Because to be honest, the way he done formed his cult fan base, I can't even hate on it. I can't hate on it. Motherfuckers is crazy, but I can't hate on it. And I'm not one of those people that is gonna only talk about one side. You don't hear me just being like, oh, Trump this, Trump that. No, it's all of them. Kamala too. Kamala out on stage dancing with Beyonce. With Beyonce, where was Jay-Z? Probably somewhere with the NFL, getting his cheeks clapped. Over there twerking with Megan Thee Stallion. We don't believe her. She's a liar. She's a liar. She said she got shot in her foot. We didn't see any bone fragments. We didn't see any bullet shells. The bitch has a big foot. She probably stepped on a rock. I believe she stepped on a rock. We don't believe it. Free Tory Lanez. I donated Tory Lanez one of my toupees. It's been very hard in prison for him. He can't do his same routine. He's been losing hair follicles daily. Daily. By the millions. Millions of hair follicles by the millions. I sent him my own toupee so that he can be okay. It's very hard for him. Kamala's not black. Somebody needs to go get a wash rag, wet it a little bit, and wipe down the middle of her forehead. I promise you a dot will come up. A dot, a singular dot. She's not black. She's pretending to be. Oh, my God. Let me stop, man. I'm done, man. I'm done. That's racist. Anyway, let's get to it. I want to talk about this before we get out of here, man. This crossed my timeline, and it was very, very, very interesting to me. And I believe that some of you guys saw it as well. But we're going to talk about it. So, Tony Rock. Shout out to Tony Rock, man. He seems like a very solid individual. Funny guy, talented, has done a lot in the industry. He was sitting down with Ari Spears, a.k.a. the Gooey Raccoon, and a couple other guys on the podcast where they spoke about a lot of things. But one thing that started to make its rounds on social media was how Tony talked about his brother, Chris, not putting him in any of his movies or anything that he's done in his career. This story to me hurt my heart. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Because you can tell the way that he's telling the story, he doesn't want to throw his brother under the bus because he loves him, but he's also really hurt. Because how could you have a brother in that position? And it's not like you're not just the other brother that's just chilling at home watching your brother become some great entertainer and comic, and you just got up one day and called him and said, hey, man, put me in a movie. Like, no, this man's in the industry as well. He's been putting in the work as well. He's been hitting these stages, doing comedy shows, going on TV, doing movies. He's been putting in the work. So it's only right, in my opinion, that if I'm Chris Rock, hey, let me go grab my brother, because people know who he is now. He's not just Chris Rock's brother. I put Tony Rock in the same category as like a Charlie Murphy and I say that by their name standing as their name. You're not going to call Charlie Murphy Eddie Murphy's brother. You're going to call him Charlie Murphy. You're not going to call Tony Chris's brother. You're going to call him Tony Rock, regardless if you think he's a hilarious person or not. I believe that he put in his own work to be respected in that way. But he was asked during this podcast, hey, why hasn't your brother put you in any movies? And this is what he had to say.
Right. Here's something that I've always wanted to know that's baffled the shit out of me. And both you and Eddie Murphy, I go, we know as black men how hard it is for us to make it in this hustle.
Right.
It's hard for white boys to make it.
Right.
Because of the competitive nature of the beast.
Right.
But for us, it's even harder.
Right.
So I go, how is it that Eddie Murphy is your brother, and I don't see you in no Eddie Murphy vehicles, Charlie? How is it that Chris Rock is your brother, and I don't see you in no Chris Rock shit? And
now, the reason I'm going to stop it here is because he did mess up a little bit. Charlie was definitely in his brother's movies and different things that Eddie did. He may not have been in a lot of them, but he definitely was in the same projects as Eddie. Eddie definitely threw his brother some bones out here. You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to say that. We're not going to say that. Also, I believe Charlie is the person that did make it a point to make it so that he isn't in his brother's shadow. In my opinion, I think Eddie would have loved to have Charlie in multiple movies, multiple TV shows. I believe that. But I also believe that Charlie was the type to like, no, I want to stand on my own. I want to go get my own opportunities. I want to stand out without people attaching me to you all the time. I believe that. So we're not going to say that Eddie didn't put Charlie into some of the things that he did, but we definitely saw that Chris didn't put Tony in anything, absolutely anything. There was nothing that these two were in together at all. Now listen to what he had to say.
now, before you answer, here's the one that fucked me up the most. The movie that Chris and Martin was in, where they played brothers.
So that
fucked me up.
I'm going, not in a million fucking years do Chris Rock and Martin have the same facial features.
Yes.
Tony is his brother and look like him. How is Tony not in the fucking movie playing his brother?
I'll give you another one. They did The Longest Yard in Arizona.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Him and Sandler.
Yeah.
Joey Diaz. Joey Diaz, my man forever. Joey Diaz is my man forever. Joey Diaz said day one on the set, he walked on the set, saw all the people in the prison. My brother came on set ready to shoot. He said, hey, hold the fuck up.
Where's Tony?
Where the fuck is Tony? So you mean Tony doesn't fit in this fucking movie? I said, Joey Diaz, you my man forever.
Yeah.
You my man forever, Joey Diaz.
Explain that to me.
To try to explain. To try. I can't.
And if you're in the movie,
Listen,
the money
shut up,
stays in the
Aries.
family.
Listen,
literally.
I agree. I'm going to try to explain to you guys and you. And I'm not making it, I'm not saying it's going to make sense, but my brother sometimes, and you can see it in what he does in his movements and his actions and stuff like that, like Martin in the movie, he's a businessman when it comes to his movies and TV stuff. You know what I'm saying? So Martin's bigger than me. I need to sell this movie. Tone's my brother. Yes, there will be some, hey, him and his brother in the movie. Let's go check it out. But him and Martin push the needle more. I'm only speaking on that movie in that regard. I get it. I was like, okay, I get it. The one that fucked me up. Here's the one that fucked me up. And I've never told anybody this. Only a few of two of my boys know this, and maybe, my siblings. When he did the movie Top 5. Oh yeah. I was on tour. I came home for a week. I was at the Comedy Cellar. We hadn't seen each other in a while, and we don't talk a lot. Now since the divorce, we talk a lot more. But he was in his space where we weren't really talking a lot. And I walk in the Comedy Cellar, and he's there, and he's at the table with Colin and all of the guys. And I'll go over to say what's up, and he goes, "Hey, got a movie, man. Put you in it." I did not ask for anything. Chris will tell you, I've never, like I said before, it's on the headliners only. I've asked him for 5 favors my whole life. He said no every time, and I swore on everything I loved I would never ask him for anything as long as I lived. So that night, I walk in the comedy cellar. He goes, yo, I got a movie. I'm putting you in it. Now I got to do my due diligence. Okay, who do I have to call? Do I have to audition? Do I have to send a tape? No, you good. We're shooting in New York, too. I'm like, bet. Summertime in New York. I'm going to be in New York for the summer. I'm going to be home shooting a movie with my brother for the summer. I'm beyond excited. It don't get no better than this. I'm thinking, this is another one of those things where people never know how close you are.
Right.
So it's New York. Everybody that's a stand-in, I know. Everybody that's background, I know.
Everybody.
So I'm on tour, waiting for the phone call. Tell my management, tell my agency, yo, once he calls, we're going to pause the tour and go shoot the movie. Yeah, bet, we ready. And I start getting phone calls like, hey, I'm on set. Where you at? I'm like, what you mean you on set? We started shooting today. Today was the first day. Oh, shit. Well, I didn't get a phone call.
Damn.
A week later, some chick. Hey, babe, where you at? I'm doing background on this club scene. Are you here? What are you talking about? Yeah, we shooting. The top 5 is up and running. Like a month in. Nigga, 2 months in. I get a fucking phone call. Yo, you at the rap party? We here.
Oh.
Damn. Yo, bruh,
Damn,
that shit
man.
crushed me. That shit crushed me, bro.
So why didn't you
Look,
call?
I've never seen the movie Top 5. I shouldn't have to call.
Yeah,
You said to your brother, I'm going to put you in a movie.
I feel you.
I should just get a phone call like, yo, tomorrow we'll be here at 2 o'clock, we shoot. Or, yo, give me your email, I'm going to send you the sides.
You had to be angry.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me. And I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Charlie Woo Woo. I see what you're saying. But I also have a question for you, my good sir. If your brother was Chris Rock, and your brother Chris Rock told you, hey, I'm shooting a movie. It's called Top 5. It's going to be in New York. You live in New York. It's easy money. And then all of a sudden the movie starts happening and they're shooting it. And your brother didn't contact you. Your brother didn't hit you up. Your brother didn't try to get you on the set. Brother didn't even try to get you a role. It just happened. And then the shoot wrapped up without you even being even near the set, not even a block away from the set. How would you feel? Regardless if you were a mild comedian or entertainer, how would you feel personally? Would you look at your brother a different way, or would you tell yourself, well, I'm mild, so I guess I shouldn't be, or I'm not like Ali Sadiq, or I'm not like Ari Spears, or I'm not like Flex Williams, so I'm just gonna just say that I didn't get the call or get invited to the set to be a part of the movie because I'm mild. Would you tell yourself that? Or would you look at your brother differently? How would y'all feel? He said that's why Will slapped Chris. That's another thing I wanted to bring up because despite, and this is another reason why I do feel bad for Tony and why I feel a certain way towards Chris Rock. When the Will stuff happened, none of that stuff mattered. The only thing that mattered to Tony was that this nigga slapped my brother. And if I ever see Will Smith, I don't care if Will put me in a show that got my name out there to people. I will run the fade with this nigga Will because you don't put your hands on my brother. So once again, I want to ask the question. Would you look a certain way at your brother for not doing what he said he would do, follow through with putting you in a movie that, to me, became a very well-known, it became a cult classic of sorts. A lot of people like that movie, Top 5. How would you feel? What up, Will? Yo, man said, at this point, Tony going to have an MMA bout with Will Smith to be in a movie with his brother. He said, I'd ensure he has his own. Sheriff has said, now we can see why Will slapped the taste out of this ninja's mouth. Corey has nothing to complain about except his own damn mouth. I would have pulled up just so you wouldn't have no excuse. That was another thing I was wondering why he didn't just pull up if he knew that they were shooting. Also, you know, it'll be very awkward and very weird if he pulled up and was like, yeah, you remember you told me to be in the movie, and his brother had no intentions of actually putting him in the movie. and then try to put him in a place in the movie where they didn't even have a design or even have the inkling of a feeling to put him in the movie, then it would have threw the movie off, or it would have been like they just threw him in there because he's Chris's brother. His brother should have had an actual role for him set up. Like he said, when he walked in and saw his brother at the Comedy Cellar or whatever they went to, he didn't ask him like, hey, what projects you working on? You got any new movies coming up? I want to be in something. His brother brought it up to him. Chris told him, hey, I'm working on a movie in New York. I want you to be in it. I got you. As my brother, I would expect you to have my back in that sense. This isn't like, oh, you know, your brother works at Target and he's a manager at Target and he's trying to get you the job, and you put in an application and your background check came back and it didn't clear, so you couldn't get the job. No, this is a movie that he produced. Chris Rock was over this movie. That's what makes it even more messed up. It wasn't that they just presented Chris Rock with some movie idea and was like, do you want to star in it? No, it was Chris's movie. That's what makes it even more messed up, in my opinion. And then you doing it in your own hometown and you still didn't even call your brother for it. Nikki Love says, goes to show you that just because your blood doesn't make you family. True. I never commit to something I'm not going to do. That's called a lie. Everybody can't go, and everybody isn't in the position to pull a Giannis and tag his little bro along for the ride. Yeah, but if you're Chris Rock, we're not just talking about any other regular individual. Like I said, that was his movie. That was his movie. Of course he could have did that. He could have put his brother in at any point. He said, let's reverse it all. If there was no Chris Rock, would we know about Tony? That's a loaded question for many reasons, because if Tony always had it in his heart to be a comedian and he hit these comedy clubs, then he would just be Tony Rock doing comedy, regardless if he's funny or not. I don't think it was because of Chris Rock that Tony Rock has a career. Clearly, because he hasn't put Tony in anything. He didn't put Tony in nothing. So it wasn't because, that's another thing. It wasn't even because of Chris Rock. So if Chris Rock didn't exist, we would still have Tony Rock. You see what I mean? That got debunked very quickly because the conversation we're having is about his brother never putting him in anything. And Tony making his own way. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. He said, I found that all blood ain't family. That's why they call relatives. Chris is jealous of Tony. Scratch my head. He said, exactly, because he's mid as fuck. Sibling rivalry. I would make sure I became bigger than him on purpose. Tony is funnier than Chris, in my opinion. Yo, man, what is it? Says, shit. Eddie Murphy put his brother in few movies before we even knew he was funny. So you definitely got a point. Listen, all I'm saying is it doesn't matter. That's the subjective part. Whether you think he's funny or not doesn't matter. We're talking about an opportunity to put your brother in position to excel. And what better way than to use what you have going on, your stardom, your celebrity, your push in the industry, than to help put your brothers on. Like, for a perfect example, not all the Wayans aren't funny. They aren't all hilarious. They aren't all gut-wrenching on the floor crying, laughing. But you know what Keenan did? Do you know what Keenan Ivory Wayans did? He made sure to put them on. You don't see all of the Wayans out here doing major things. There's only the few that stood out that is still out here doing what they do. And some of them that's like, man, I done put in enough work, made enough money, we good. But I'm just saying, when you have the push and when you have the opportunity and when you have that type of power, why wouldn't you? It doesn't matter if people think your brother is funny or not. I love my brothers. It didn't matter if they were on the same level as me comedically. If I had the opportunity, if I was producing and shooting a movie, oh yeah, come on. Come on. I'm going to find something for you, even if you the dude standing as a barista at Starbucks giving somebody a latte. You're going to be in the movie. And that's for me just putting one of my brothers in the movie that don't even act or are not even in the industry. Tony's in the industry. Tony acts. Tony does comedy. So he has the chops to do it. Even stand-up comedy aside, what about his acting chops? Do you think Tony can act? It might be mild, but he's doing it, and he's in it, and his brother knows that. Why don't his mom come out and speak up against that? She spoke up when Will slapped the shit out of Chris. Why didn't she come out and say, hey, Chris, put your brother in the movie? Put your brother in the movie. You out here doing everything. You worth $250 million. You got all these. You are a damn zebra. You are a damn zebra in a kid's movie. They done paid your ass $500 million. Put your brother in a movie. Put your brother in a movie. Why did she speak out against that? Tony is better looking than Chris. That's why he didn't want him to rent the flick. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. The sheriff has said Ivory Wayans wrote his own too and put his siblings on. Big up to him. Yo, man, what is it? Said Morgan Freeman had his brother in small role in Shawshank Redemption. We're reeling him in. See, people be putting their people on, man. Come on, Chris, put your brother in a movie so he can stop crying about it. And that's another thing. You don't hear Tony talk about that. That's not a topic of conversation for Tony. It was just brought up to him, and he had to bring it up. And he chose to speak on it because clearly it made him feel some type of way. But, I mean, like I said, regardless how you look at it, I think that it's wrong. And honestly, at this point, if Chris got wind of what Tony said and tries to put him in a movie, I wouldn't do it if I was Tony. I wouldn't do it. You're not going to throw me sympathy roles now because you heard what I said and you got to deal with it. You didn't think I was going to say anything, or you didn't think that I was going to feel that type of way. You just felt like, oh, it's all good because that's my brother. And now that you see that it hurt me and that it tore him up, no diddler. I wouldn't put it past Chris to hit him now and be like, yeah, I'm working on this. Can you do it? If I was Tony, I'd say no thanks. No thanks. I'm good. I'm great. I don't need to do it. I'll go ahead in my corner and still try to make opportunities for myself. I'm good, man. You ain't gonna pay me enough, no way, man. You'll make me a cameo. You ain't gonna make me no reoccurring, none of that. You know what I'm saying? If it plays out that way, I will hope he stands on that as far as that. And Tony, I don't take Tony to be the guy that's not gonna stand on his word. So, with that being said, man, look, GMS Family Green Room, I appreciate everybody that pulled up, man. We had 167 people in here at one point. So 126 of y'all in here right now. I want y'all to please hit that like button on the way out. Follow me on my socials, man. If you want to support the GMS show in a big way, you can send a super chat. Shout out to Yo Man, what is this, for becoming a member. Also, shout out to Sean Mims for the $9.99 3 times in the super chat for supporting, man. If y'all want to support in another big way, you can by hitting the Cash App that is right below on the screen, scrolling right past my finger here. Y'all can support in a big way, man. I appreciate every single one of y'all, man. GMS Family Green Room. Make sure you put a GMS in the chat as well. Where is this at? There we go. I was looking for my song right there. Hey, I see you, King Lukey. Shout out to King Lukey. Justin Furlow. Talk Champs Podcast. I see you. Yo, man, what is this? Make sure y'all go and subscribe to my guy over there. T-Fam1. Fred Johnson. Nate Kush, I see you. Shout out to my GMS fam, man. It's been a dope show today. I had to come kick it with y'all for a while. It's been a couple weeks, so I wanted to make sure I kicked it with y'all long enough. Make sure y'all tune in to 3Gs tomorrow night, by the way. Tomorrow night, 3Gs, don't miss it. We had a very great show last week, and we're going to have another one this week. You do not want to miss it. The Sheriffess, I see you. Steve-Mo, I see you. Chet Perry, I see you. He said, what we doing for Halloween? Damn, that is on Halloween, huh? Damn. That is on Halloween. All right. All right, my boy. I don't know. I might have to go get a mask or something. I might have to go get an Olafambu costume. Show up on a rhino. Shout out to Reggie Ruckus. Clock in the building. I appreciate y'all for pulling up on us today and enjoying the conversation. Adding into the live chat as always. Y'all pulled up expeditiously. More content coming soon. More music coming soon. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. My GMS fam, I am here with y'all, and I'm glad y'all here with me. Yeah. He said GMS, my bad. Tyson Jordan Jackson said, oh, Happy Meal ass song. Happy Meal? You hungry, nigga? Go to McDonald's. Go get you a little toy, a little princess toy or something. Go play with that. Go get you some apple slices. You don't want no fries, you want apple slices. Nigga didn't want a Sprite, he wanted an apple juice. Nigga said Happy Meal. What you talking about? Shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all, GMS fam, the Green Room. It's been a real episode today. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Do not eat the chicken Big Mac. Save your big back. What up, Lonnie J? I appreciate every single one of y'all. We gonna get to it again next week. Stay tuned. GMS fam, the Green Room. It's been real. We out.